All right, guys, welcome back. I told you it was going to be a short break. Here we are yet again. Wally Wall, why don't you tell us how good Roma FC did today?
So it's IS Roma. It's not Roma
Yeah,
FC, and they
whatever.
lost. And then they lost 2-0 to a Spanish team, Sevilla. So fuck, man. They sold the club. There's a new president. Everything will be fine. Maybe next year.
Listen,
That's
guys,
all I
it's
have
the
to
whole
say.
reason you guys didn't get to hear Native MMA earlier in your Thursday is because fucking Roma had to play, and they lost anyways.
Yeah,
Some
that's
shit.
what happened.
This is-
I actually was outside to buy this when you called me.
That's his new sex toy, but we'll talk about that next episode. Anyways, guys, here we are talking about the Black Beast, Derek Lewis versus the Boa Constrictor, Alexei Oleinik. A beautiful heavyweight matchup that we have for you guys this Sunday from the Apex Center on ESPN Plus. I can't wait. Co-main event, the returning middleweight champion Chris Weidman against Omari Akhmedov. And that Akhmedov, man, is a killer. Let me tell you guys what. We will get more into those two in a little bit, but let's start it off. It's a huge fight card. As we talked about, in the last episode, some of the fights from last week fell through. They brought some of the guys over. Obviously, Kevin Holland from last week is now going to be fighting yet again. So here we are starting in the bantamweight division this time. We have Irvin Rivera against Ali Al-Khazib. I feel like I just messed that up.
Yeah, Al-Qazi, yeah.
A great matchup. Irvin Rivera used to fight in Titan FC. He just fought Gigi Cortichitas to a 3-round decision in his UFC debut. So we'll be able to see what he's able to do in his natural weight class of bantamweight, and this time with somewhat of a full camp, and it's at least not quite as a short notice fight. It is, maybe not a full camp like he would like, but at least for Rivera, he will be able to, know what to expect. He's already dealt with the UFC jitters before. He's fought at the Apex Center now already. Interesting fight for the young man. Can't wait to see what he's able to bring to the table.
Yeah, interesting matchup to begin with. I feel like we don't have a lot of information when it comes to Ali because he's actually never fought in the UFC.
No, very first time fighting in the UFC, 29 years old, going into his MMA prime. He's 5'7". Rivera is a small bantamweight. Rivera is only 5'5". Obviously, You've seen that height difference in the Gigi fight. Gigi was able to pick him apart with strikes, but Irvin Rivera has the heart of a lion. He will stay there, and he will fight you till tooth and nail. Yeah. One guy who I am excited to talk about is Youssef Zala, another young man, 23 years old, going up against a Contender Series veteran, Peter Barrett. Now, Peter Barrett's 11-3, 33 years old, both 145 pounds, but Barrett has the 1-inch reach advantage. I don't know a lot about these. Obviously, Barrett. Zala, though, let me tell you what, the kid, if he could figure out, he got caught by Jordan Griffin in his first fight, or in his last fight. He lost to Austin Liggins in his second fight, but before he came there, he was one of the top-ranked guys out of Denver. I believe he's at Factory X with Alexander Hernandez and those guys. I really feel like this guy could be the fucking limit for this kid if he could really just figure it out in the octagon, get his fight IQ up. He's got all the talent in the world, though.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Youssef?
Yes.
But he actually won those fights, right?
No, he lost those 2 fights against Jordan Griffin.
Oh, really? Because in Sherdog, they're saying that he won his last fights by decision.
Oh, no, I lied then. He did win those fights. I don't know. I was thinking he lost that fight.
No. He won. I remember those 2 fights. I remember that. And we
listen, kids, don't smoke weed, okay?
I remember we talked about those 2 fights and we did the preview and the recap, and I remember that he won. And I remember
Zala, man.
He's really a good fighter.
The kid's got some talent.
Yeah, he's a very good fighter, and this. Like you said, sky can be the limit for him. There's some issues when it comes to him. There's some holes in his game, like you said. But if he keeps it up and keeps on working hard, I really feel like sky will be the limit for him.
In the featherweight division, again, we have Gavin Tucker coming up against our good friend Justin Janus, who we had on last week. Justin talked about this being his very first appearance at the featherweight division. He obviously won his first UFC fight at the lightweight division, his natural weight class. He ended up knocking out Frank Camacho very quickly in the first round. Justin Janus now on a full camp at 145 pounds. He said that it was the only thing offered to him, and he was sat outside of the UFC for so long that when the opportunity came to knock, he just wanted to answer the door.
Yeah, listen, he's a good fighter. I feel like his first UFC fight was good. It was this is his second fight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, his first performance was good, and very interesting matchup, like you said. But let's see how he do in this division. Do you know what are actually the reasons why he's fighting in a different division?
It was the only thing offered to him. It wasn't even his choice. It was the UFC came to him and said 45, and he even said, can we get something in 55? And they said, no, this is all we have for you right now. You take it or you wait, and he took it.
He's right. You don't
know how long you're gonna wait. In situations like this, the lightweight division right now, a lot of guys have already matched up. So it's either you want to stay active. Well, here's your opportunity to stay active. You got to go to 145. He isn't the biggest 55er. He's only 5'6". Gavin Tucker's 5'5". The reach advantage does go to Janus by 2 inches. The age advantage does go to Tucker, even though Janus has more fights. Janus has the wrestling background as well. I really feel like he's the more well-rounded fighter, and I feel like his fight IQ may even be higher than Gavin Tucker just based on his coaching alone. He's had a lot of opportunities to be on both sides of the cage, and I really feel like that it really helps fighters be able to evaluate themselves in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, and I agree with you when you said that he took this fight because he had to. He has to take fights. He doesn't have to wait. Rumor said that Marvin Vittori actually is still waiting on a lobby of a hotel room. So you take fights. People are waiting. Take fights
especially when you have a situation like the coronavirus, when you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if tomorrow we may get another spike and everything gets shut down yet again.
Exactly.
So take those paydays when you can, especially when you are pretty much just like a general contractor to UFC.
Yeah.
In the middleweight division, another good friend of ours, Wellington Thurman, is going to be taking on Andrew Sanchez. Fun fact, Wellington Thurman was our very first guest that we ever had to use a translator. He went in there and knocked out Marcus Perez. Now he's going up against Andrew Sanchez. I'm excited to see Wellington again, man. He's a young kid, 24 years old. He's a big dude, though. I mean, he's really built. He's maybe not the longest person in that division, but he's very stocky.
He's heavy, yeah.
At 24, you don't know how much long. I mean, he may grow even more.
That's what I think. I'm not sure that he can stay in this division very long.
I think he'll be able to stay in the division. I just think he's going to be a bigger 85er.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's a smaller version of Paulo Costa.
That would be interesting. But then we will see if cutting weight will be good or will be bad for him. But yeah, he's still young, 24. His body, through the years, will surely change, and maybe
he's got a good head on his shoulders too, so that helps. You know what I mean? He understands that what he's gonna have to do. He understands the sacrifices he has to make. 24-year-old guys just don't make it to the UFC nowadays with all social media and everything that's out there. It's hard for young guys to break through unless they are very level-headed and know what they want.
Yeah. And he's fighting against it's an interesting matchup against Andrew Sanchez.
Andrew Sanchez, former Ultimate Fighter winner.
Yeah, his last fight he lost to Marvin Vittori. Actually, yeah, he lost to Marvin. So,
but he beat Marc-Andre Bilio. He beat Marcus Perez. The one thing that stands out to me is Wellington Thurman was able to finish Marcus Perez while Andrew Sanchez grinded him out to a decision. Andrew Sanchez looked really good coming off the Ultimate Fighter. He was 2-0. He beat Khalil Roundtree in the finale, if you remember. He was a light heavyweight going down to middleweight. He lost to Anthony Smith. But, besides that, he's looked really, really good up until the Vittori fight.
Yeah,
not a lot of guys get out of the Vittori fights. I mean, outside of, Israel Adesanya, I can't think of anyone else besides Andrew Sanchez.
I agree with you. And Andrew, like, it's a really tough opponent for Wellington. I feel like it's a really good challenge for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a huge step up in competition for Wellington, and it really shows where he is in that middleweight division.
Yeah, I agree.
And what do we got next on this huge stacked card, man? I love these big cards like this. Here we go.
We have Nasrat, man.
That's not Nasrat, bro. That's Kevin Gastelum versus Alex Munoz. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Calvin Gastelum just drops down to lightweight, and he be fighting guys because he's bigger than him, okay?
Yeah.
Nasrat Hakpazat versus Alex Munoz. I'm excited, man. Nasrat had a lot of hype behind him. He obviously was finished by Drew Dauber. Drew Dauber took a lot of that hype and ran with it. Nasrat, though, is still a very, very, very good and talented young man. He's 24, another young guy. Where's he from again? Is he from Iraq?
I feel like he's from
Afghanistan. He, I believe, is the only Afghanistan fighter in the UFC.
He is. I think he is.
So obviously, you know, the Middle East, they get behind their fighters. They're big fight fans out there. Obviously, you've seen what they were able to do in Abu Dhabi. You know, Nasrat, if he could have that big wave, of Middle Eastern people behind him, the sky's the limit for this guy. Dana will push him.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he has that. I feel like, because every time I see comments where he fights on Instagram posts and stuff like that, I feel like he have some fans. Like, the numbers are there.
Yes,
for sure. If he keeps on winning and climbing the ladder, he will get more and more fans. But yeah, just so you know, everybody who is a Khabib fan who's from that region will be a fan for him also. So you see how you can actually be. Fun fact: what's his name? What's the name of that Khabib teammates? Zubaira. Zubaira is actually
fighting soon.
Yeah, he actually have over 1 million followers on Instagram.
Holy fuck, really?
Dude, you need to see.
You hit Conor McGregor once from behind, you get 1 million. Bro, we should have done that a long time ago.
Well,
what the fuck are we waiting for?
Those Dagestanis numbers
I will punch the shit out of Conor McGregor for 1 million fans.
The beats number also is scary. I feel like maybe 3 million. I'm not sure, but listen.
Oh, shit.
Zabit, who is actually he's not a fighter, but you feel like sometimes there's maybe more famous fighter than him. Worldwide, man, it's a whole other thing. Worldwide, a whole other level.
It's crazy. Even us, man, we have a few Afghanistan fans. It blew my mind. It was like 4 people from Afghanistan listening to us. So I appreciate you 4 guys, and I'm sure you 4 guys appreciate Nasrat. Or women. I don't know. I don't mean to judge you guys, but I'm guessing men just based on their, morals and shit. In the middleweight division, we got Kevin Holland against Juan. I don't know how the fuck this is.
Joaquin. It's Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix Buckley. Listen, I love Big Mouth. I'm all about Big Mouth. I don't know much about Buckley. I believe this is his first UFC appearance. He's 10-2. Late addition to UFC on Vegas 6. So, I mean, it is what it is. The new Amansa, Mr. Joaquin Buckley, is 10-2. The dude is jacked. Let me tell you what. He has finished his last 2 LFA fights with dominant stops. Total octagon time for those 2 fights is under 3 minutes.
Crazy.
Kevin Holland. Big Mouth going in there to do his thing. Now, as you were saying before I cut you off rudely.
Listen, Kevin Holland, you give him like 5 fighters in one night. He will say, okay. Just give
for sure.
Yeah. He's not afraid at all.
He was calling out people who lost their opponents on fucking national television. He was tweeting it. Like, where's Ed Herman? We will fight right now. I'm in my hotel room waiting.
He's crazy. I fucking love the guy.
Now, what's not to love about him?
Everything, man. Everything is lovable about him.
Dude, I mean, when you have the type of charisma to be stuck in Dana White's mind to where when you have no one willing to take a fight, he's like, hey, let's try that kid out.
Yeah.
And Kevin Holland did the damn thing. He answered the call. Here he is in the UFC. I'm excited for this fight. Kevin Holland has a huge reach advantage over Joaquin. Kevin Holland has an 81-inch reach to Kevin Holland, or to Joaquin's 73-inch reach advantage. It's crazy.
Crazy. Great matchup.
Now in the welterweight division, Dirty Bird Tim Means taking on Laureano Strapoli, 9-2. Both these guys, obviously 170 pounds, 6'1" for Strapoli, 6'2" for Means. The reach is a advantage to Means by a good margin, 4.5 inches.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3.5 inches, 71.5.
It's a huge reach advantage, I feel like. And,
yeah, especially if you could utilize that, stay on the outside, bang, 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 you're straight.
There's also a huge gap when it comes to age. Tim is 36 and Lorenzo is 27. Like
this, the Argentinian El Matador.
El Matador. This is 9 years between them, so pretty interesting matchup, and you can see it. I mean, like the MMA record, the age, the everything. It makes sense because Tim Means have a lot more fights than Lorenzo, so. You see that it's the experienced fighter versus maybe the much younger fighter with only 11 MMA. When I say only, it doesn't really mean that it's a few. 11 fights can be many. It can be like a few. It all depends on who are your opponents. But yeah. Lorenzo, this is a very interesting matchup, and I like how this is the main event of the prelims.
Yeah, good fight. But let me tell you what, these main card fights are fucking amazing. Started off, we have Scott Holtzman, who is a phenomenal lightweight, going up against Beneil Dariush. You obviously seen what Beneil Dariush was able to bring out of Jakara Close in that fight, and those two went tooth and nail. It could have went either way. Beneil obviously finishing the fight before the judges ever got their input into it. Scott Holtzman is another man who is going to go in there, and they are going to bang. Let me tell you what, the reach advantage, I know, is going towards Dariush for 3 inches, but Holtzman, he gets on the inside very well. He's able to elude the first shot to where he's able to get his shots off. He will bait you in and like a matador, take you out.
Listen, Dariush, if we come back to 2017, like at the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, listen, people thought that he was over when he lost to Edson Barboza. Then he had that draw against Evan Dunman. Then he lost to Alexander Hernandez. People thought that from down there it will all be downhill from there, and he will be left out by the UFC. Listen, he's on a 4 winning streak, fight winning streak right now. Another win for him will be huge, I feel like, because he will keep on climbing the ladder. Dariush is no joke, man.
No, he's no easy out, that's for sure.
He's no joke.
Beneil Dariush obviously trains with a ton of talented guys down there at Black House. He's got him, Calvin Gastelum, very talented women in Sabina Mazo. They're very, very Kings MMA, man. They got some killers down there.
Yeah.
Now, in the women's bantamweight division, Yana Kunitskaya is taking on Julija Stoliarenko. I fucked that up.
Stoliarenko. No, it's Stoliarenko. You were not like
Stoliarenko.
She's from Lithuania. She's from the same country as Rose Namajunas.
I've seen her before. Oh, she fought for Invicta. That's where I recognize her from. She is a badass. I remember her fighting in Invicta for the Phoenix series. She won a split decision that night. She was on heavy hitters. Okay, that's what I remember her from also.
Yeah. It's an interesting matchup. Yana, I like this fight because I feel like we don't have a lot of information when it comes to Julia. Yana, on the other hand, I feel like maybe we've seen much of her in the UFC. We saw her fight against Lina Landsberg. We saw her lose to Aspen Ladd in her last fight, but she's a very talented fighter.
I'm surprised she's fighting. Didn't she just have a child?
I'm not sure about that. I feel so.
I thought
now that you're saying it. Now that you're saying, for sure she's not fighting pregnant, but
well, yeah, no,
yeah,
I don't think she's fighting pregnant. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
I'm not sure.
I'm surprised that she is making this. I could have sworn that she either just had her child or her and Thiago Santos.
Yeah, I feel like she was just pregnant, but maybe those are old pictures, or I'm not sure about that. Maybe it's like some sort of, it's like the Mackenzie Dern type of situation where she fought after giving birth. Like maybe it's the same.
Yana Kunitskaya, man. Obviously, we've seen her up against Cyborg. It was a lackluster performance, but she's looked pretty good ever since that fight. She obviously goes back to her natural weight class after the Cyborg fight. That's really helped her out a lot. Being at 135, I really feel like is definitely where she needs to be. I'm not too sure about Julia, whatever the hell you say her name is, but she used to fight at featherweight. So in my opinion, I believe she's going to be the bigger girl coming in here. She is an inch taller, and Yana Kunitskaya actually has the longer reach. It'll be interesting. I'm excited for this one because it could really turn out to be one of the best fights of the night. Yana Kunitskaya always brings it. And, Julia obviously is being her return to the UFC, her very first official UFC appearance. She's going to go in there and do what she can to show that she belongs.
Listen, what's next? I'm not sure that it will be the fight of the night because, listen, the main events and the co-main events of this card for me are crazy.
And that last fight's pretty good, so this next fight's also really good. Middleweight division, Coco Bombs Meki Patola is taking on Darren Stewart. I am excited about this matchup. They're very, very even. Meki actually has the longer reach, where Darren Stewart is taller. Meki Coco Bombs put quick work on Mr. Marlon Byrd. He lost his very first UFC fight in a decision to Colin Porter. But Darren Stewart has dropped a lot since being in the UFC. Well, shoot. His UFC first octagon appearance, it was a draw. Yeah. Go figure that one. Then he lost. But he's looked good against Eric Spicely. Charles Birdie looked really good against Edmund Shabazian and stopped him. Darion Wynn, it was, I thought, his most impressive performance to date. And here we go against Meki Bombs. I feel like this could be an opportunity for Coco Bombs to really have a coming out show and show that he really belongs in this middleweight division.
Yeah, listen, Darren actually UFC record is not, he have like 4 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw.
He's fought a bunch of the killers, though.
Yeah, all his losses are from the UFC. Yeah. So pretty interesting to see, to point out. I feel like Meki Pirolo, on the other hand, this is his 3rd UFC fight, if we don't count the Dana White Contender, which is not really the UFC. So, yeah, interesting matchup. You said that you were very high on Meki Pitolo, right?
Yes, I like Coco Bombs a lot.
Yeah.
His striking is crisp. I really feel like the now added power that he used to be a welterweight. He's moved up to middleweight. He's looked very good since moving up to middleweight. Charles Byrd was his first official middleweight fight. He looked phenomenal. If he's able to continue to show that he is faster than everybody with the power he has, he's going to knock guys out in that division.
He can, yeah. He have those heavy hands.
He's got very heavy hands, and he has been able to show that they're just as heavy at middleweight as they were at welterweight.
Yeah.
Co-main event, man. How excited are you about this one? Hold on, before we jump onto that one, who do you have for the co-main event in this middleweight match between Pitolo and Stewart?
You know what? I feel like Pitolo may be the most dangerous fighter out of those two. So I will go with Meki Pitolo.
I have to agree with you on that one. I feel like this one probably won't see the judges, maybe not even make it out of the second round, as Vicente Luque continues to text me, because that's how we are, boys like that. In the middleweight division, co-main event, Omari Akhmedov versus your boy Chris Weidman. And you know who else boy he is? His daddy's boy. Let me tell you what. That's a daddy's boy if I ever seen one.
He's still his boy, man. He's still his boy. After all those losses, he's still his boy.
Okay, no matter what, man, that's his boy,
No
and
matter
then
what.
that's a dad that loves his son. Let me tell you what, very very jealous of that relationship. Very
Yeah.
beautiful relationship that he has with his father, and yeah, man, it just shows, and he has the same type of relationship with his son CJ. You know what I mean? It's really, it shows the generations between generations of just good men that the Weidman are. He's a
Yeah.
phenomenal fighter.
And Omari Akhmedov, I feel like in this division is one of the most dangerous fighter that nobody wants to actually fight. I feel like he's one of those fighters that actually have problems finding fights. And I just want to point out something about Chris Weidman. For all the losses he had, like in his last 6 fights, he lost 5 against Luke Rockhold. If you remember, before that attempt of that spinning kick, he was winning the fight. Against Yoel
Yes.
Romero, I feel like those 2 first rounds, he maybe won the 2 first rounds because he was actually looking good. He wasn't looking bad against Romero until that fucking flying knee. Against Gegard Mousasi, I feel like he was decent. Then he got knocked out. Against Kelvin Gastelum, I feel like it was a well-deserved win for a guy that after he
Yeah, he
lost,
looked good again in the Gastelum fight.
yeah, Gastelum lost to him and then he fought for the belt. How the fuck is it possible? I will never understand it. Let's not talk about Kelvin Gastelum again. Against Jacare Souza, if you remember in those 3 rounds, he was actually looking good. Then he got knocked out by Jacare. Dominic Reyes was a different thing. He stepped up. He stepped up in the light heavyweight division, and Dominic Reyes was just too much for him. But listen, White Man never looked like bad in those fights. I
Yeah,
feel like Chris Weidman is still out there. He just need those wins. He just need,
for sure.
yeah, that's all he need, and he can maybe do it in this fight.
Now, Akhmedov has not lost since 2016. His only closest thing to a loss is a draw against Marvin Vettori. He's beaten guys like Abdul Rahak Alazine, Kyle Nook, Ian Heinisch, Zach Cummings, Tim Bosch. Omari Akhmedov, like you said earlier, is probably one of those guys who a lot of people aren't calling to fight, and there's a reason for that. He is very good, and he is not the biggest name. So if you lose to him, they're like, who the hell did you just lose to? But listen, there's a lot of guys who were signed to fight him because there's not a lot of good options that come out of fighting him. It's either you're going to get beat up, you might squeeze out a possible victory. But since he's really, made that leap in his career, he's really shown that he's on a different level now. He has beautiful wrestling. He's always had great wrestling, but now his striking is able to, be on a similar level to other fighters, and it's really shown to be an impressive combination.
Yeah, listen, something I like very much about Chris Weidman. He's a guy that he will fight anyone and anytime. Listen,
Yes.
ever since he fought Damian Maia, he's been fighting beast after beast after beast. And just for the record, his third MMA pro fight was against a guy named Uriah Hall. So he's been actually fighting top fighters ever since he started. Listen, Damian Maia, Mark Munoz, Anderson Silva 2 times, Lyoto Machida, Vitor, Rockhold, Romero, and the list goes on. Listen, he's not afraid of anyone, and he will keep
And
on
that's a
fighting.
Hall of Fame list right there.
That's what I love about him. He's fighting everyone, and even if he loses this fight, and I hope not, and I will be rooting for him, and I think that he will win this fight. This is my prediction. Chris Weidman is not afraid of anyone.
I do agree with everything you just said, except for your prediction. I really believe that this is Omari Akhmedov's fight to win, and I really feel like it's his fight to put him on the map, to make guys be like, hey, listen, if I want a title shot, I need to start looking at this guy.
Win or lose, he will still be his dad's boy. That's all
That he will be. That he will be. Now, in the main event of the evening, the Black Beast is returning against a boa constrictor in Alexei Oleinik. Alexei Oleinik has one of the most prolific MMA records that he's ever seen. 59 wins, 13 losses, and 1 draw. You think of all those goddamn fights, he's only had 1 draw.
Crazy. 73 MMA fights.
That's unheard of. I mean, even Black Beast has a huge record, 23-7. but it's not even close to Alexei Oleinik. Alexei Oleinik is 43 years old.
Not even half his fight.
43, but does he look like he's 43? Does he move like he's a 43-year-old? The dude is still on top of his game, even at such a young age. He obviously comes in light compared to other compared to other heavyweights. So he's able to use his agility and speed to really be at his advantage. He's got a longer reach than Derek Lewis, and that's what I feel like. His reach is really what it makes it such an advantage for him. His wrestling is a top none. If he's able to get Derek Lewis on the ground, I think Alexei Oleinik might pull this one out.
His last performance against Fabricio Verdum, it was very interesting, and I hope that he doesn't try to fight the same way, because he outstriked Fabricio, but if he thinks that he will go to a brawl with Derek Lewis, it will be a short night for him, because he's a guy that's been knocked out before.
Yes.
So Derek Lewis can knock out anyone, and I really mean anyone. So listen, this is a very interesting matchup. I feel like Derek Lewis been disrespecting Oleinik by spitting on his food and shit like that.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, the Performance Institute has been using trifecta. It's a meal plan that they use. They give all their fighters all different meals and stuff to keep them at peak performance.
Yeah.
They sent Derek Lewis his food and Alexei Oleinik's food as well. Why the hell would you send somebody their opponent's food? Alexei Oleinik or Derek Lewis felt like there wasn't enough seasoning on it, so he put a little bit of soul food seasoning on it, as he likes to call it.
Listen, Derek Lewis is a fucking star that should be protected at all costs. Listen, he's the best. I don't understand how he didn't yet do the Joe Rogan experience. I thought that he will do it before that Daniel Cormier fight, but he didn't do it. I'm not sure about the reason for that, but listen, he made it personal by spitting on Alexei's food, and I love it.
I'm sure they got him some more food.
I hope so, man. He said that because he's Russian. He said because that he's Russian, he would not even see the difference.
He's probably right.
He's crazy. Listen, Derek Lewis is fucking crazy. I love the guy. Do you have a prediction for this fight?
I have to go with Derek Lewis, man. I really feel like he has the striking advantage here, bar none. I really feel like if he's able to land 2 or 3 good punches on Oleinik, it's going to be lights out.
I feel like the game plan for Oleinik will be to take Derek Lewis down, but it's not easy. Derek Lewis is a big guy.
The only person that's ever made it look easy is DC.
And nobody have DC's wrestling. Nobody. I would love to see the winner of this fight actually fight against Curtis Blade. I would love to see that.
That'd be a great fight.
Yeah, Oleinik already lost to him, but why not run it back? Or for me, Black Beast against Curtis Razor really makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight. Give me 3 fights to look out for.
Come on. So first, let me just pop up the full card so I can see. So listen, the actual Kevin Holland fight against Joaquin Buckley. Listen, Kevin Holland will fight anyone at any time, and I love this guy for it. The second fight, I would go with the Omari Ahmedov against Chris Weidman, because listen, Chris Weidman is still my boy. He's also my boy. He's still my boy. Okay. And I will come back to the first fight of the actually main card, Beneil Dariush. Actually, I'm very interested to see what he will be doing in this fight, and I hope for him that he will win.
That's a good fight. The 3 matchups that I am most interested in are Andrew Sanchez versus Wellington Thurman. I want to see if Wellington is able to take that next step in his UFC career. Justin James versus Gavin Tucker. Justin James' first fight at the 145-pound division. I'm interested to see how the cut is for him. If it's something that, we can get used to seeing him in the 145-pound division, or if it's something that he's just, trying to do just to stay active. And then for me, the middleweight matchup between Coco Bombs versus Darren Stewart, I love that matchup. I feel like that's going to be a banger. Darren Stewart has a lot of heart, and he's going to need it against Maki Patel. Let me tell you what.
And I feel like a fourth fight for both of us will be the main event because
the main event is an
main event.
amazing fight. I mean, how do you not talk about that? The boa constrictor versus the black beast, going in there to do the damn thing.
Yeah, crazy matchup.
Anything else on Lewis versus Oleinik?
Listen, I just hope that Derek Lewis never actually worked in a restaurant where I order food or anybody order food, because he has some skills. The way he's been on the food, it's been like someone actually who knows what he's doing. Like, it's not the first time that you know what I mean? It's not the first time that he's actually spitting on food. That's what I felt.
He's got a little bit of experience.
You got a little bit of experience spitting on chicken wings or shit like that. But listen, Derek Lewis, man, I fucking love you to death. You're one of the greatest thing ever happened in the UFC.
100%, man. And that about wraps it up for Derek Lewis versus Alexei Oleinik. Can't wait. If you guys stay tuned for us, we're going to shoot out one more video for you guys today. We're going to have a Bellator preview for this Friday's card. Cannot wait. But until then, guys, stay classy.
Peace.